what can you say as we're sitting here right now about your offensive coordinator and how he looks in purple? I mean, is that something that you know about with Kevin O'Connell right now?
This,
right.
Here's what I can say. I think he'll look good in purple, and I think if that comes to fruition, and I think the Vikings are getting a heck of a head coach. I think he's got some unique experiences, like being that quarterback, right, drafted by the Patriots, being in the meeting room with Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels. There's some real unique experiences that not a lot of head coaches can bring, right, or offensive coordinators can bring to a team, because only so many people get a chance to play QB. And then he was a journeyman per se, which was probably a negative, right, when you're playing. Like, I can't believe I'm a journeyman. But if you're gonna become a long-time coach, right, being able to bounce around to different teams, different coordinators, different way of doing things, it allows you your bag of tricks of like what you'd like to do, what you definitely not like to do. But for all the listeners in Southern California, the interesting thing is if you know Southern California, you kind of know the beach communities. Like, there's this kind of like big deal when you're young, this thing called junior guards, right? It's like the lifeguard. It's almost like going to camp with the lifeguard.
Uh-huh.
So I can say there probably hasn't been a lot of NFL head coaches who wear purple in Minnesota who was a junior guard back in the day.
I didn't know that. You're going deep down the roster here of information. So Kevin O'Connell is let's just put it this way, could wind up somewhere else, and it appears that he is. So what do you think of the fact that your staff keeps getting rated year in and year out, including the guy who's coaching against you in this year's Super Bowl?
Again, I think it's a compliment to the ecosystem here. And obviously, anytime it happens, we're very excited, right? There, someone earned an opportunity, right? And heck, a 1 of 32 type opportunity. And there's been guys, and there will be some that move on to be coordinators. Now, on the negative side of that, Rich, is wow, we gotta. I would say it's on the positive side. It's always fun. It's always interesting to try to go find up and coming, difference making type people to add to the ecosystem. What definitely gets exhausting at times is orientating them, training them in the way we do things. So
right.
It seems to be a constant. But at the end of the day, right, it would be what we call a champagne problem, right? Because usually other teams they like to, let's call it, promote people from successful programs. So that's the rose of the thorn.
Les Snead, general manager of the NFC champion Rams, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Does it help, though, to know Zac Taylor for a game like this and have Sean there, and you know him, he knows him, and obviously you know what he's been able to cook up, but is that a benefit, do you think, in actually X's and O'ing this Super Bowl 56?
That's a good question.
Thank you, Les.
And I was listening to I was listening to Willie McGinnis last night, and Willie and they all love Belichick, right? But he was arguing on NFL Network that Zach had the upper hand because he knew Sean, and I forget who it was that asked him, well, would you ever say that about someone who left Belichick, that they had the upper hand? But interesting listening to the whys on that. We all know Willie now is like, no, I would never say that one of the people had upper hand on Belichick. So what is interesting, I think there's benefits, but I'm not sure it moves the needle in any way, because there's a lot of similarities to what they do and how we do things, but there's also definitely some derivatives and differences. But it does make it very intriguing matchup as Sean and Zach and their staffs begin to design the chess match against each other.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.